Hey everybody, it's Party Elite, welcoming you back to another episode in our Planet Zoo franchise mode Let's Play, where we're diving right back into Elite Zoo North and picking things up right where we left them off, of course. So no time to waste, let's head on in as we near 8K guests. For the first time, again, I'm not even sure anymore. Money's looking good, the stars are looking good. The numbers are just great all around, and I'm having a wonderful time with Elite Zoo North. And folks, of course, as always, I hope you are as well. And if you are, I hope you'll let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. I said it countless times, try to make it different every once in a while, but at the end of the day, the point is that when you leave likes and comments, it really lets me know very clearly if people are still watching, if they're still interested, and that you want to see the series continue. It makes a huge difference in how I approach content on the channel. On top of that as well, I've said it always, I love reading through the comments. Even if you're tuning in, months after this episode has released, don't hesitate to drop a comment if you have something to say, because I will see it and I will either reply to it or I'll note it down or whatever might be appropriate for the comment. So just wanted to say that. But yeah, it's always a joy to see your suggestions, your thoughts, your opinions, your feedback. It really does help it helps me be better at this, so that we're all having a good time, because that's the point, right? That's the point of all this. But yeah, I'm really excited for today's episode. I'll be honest, I was feeling super tired earlier today. I don't know what, this whole week has been kind of crazy. Some of y'all might have noticed I've been releasing every other day. It's been like 3 videos a day, because I've been completely enamored by this other stuff I've been doing as well. And so the toll has been taken. And now that I'm recording on a Friday, I'm feeling the entire week's workload basically weighing down on me. So I was actually exhausted, and I was worried that I wouldn't be able to record a proper session today. But I'm feeling pretty amped up right now, pretty refreshed, and I'm looking forward to getting our new animal added in. So hopefully the thumbnail has made it quite clear that we will have a new animal today. And if the thumbnail hasn't said that, then that means that we didn't get to a time lapse today. But that seems very unlikely, because I'm planning on doing a time lapse basically right away. I'm just going to wait for the sun to come up, and then we're going to dive on in and finally add the Chinese pangolin. And I believe that would be the last Chinese animal that we have to add. I think so, at least. We've got our pandas, our red pandas. Sorry. We got our giant pandas, our red pandas, and the pangolin. Yeah. And then we'll, of course, after that, we get to the reindeer. And then we come back over here. We get our... So actually, I saw some interesting comments with regards to this. The thinking is we'll get our Formosan bears, but also our Japanese macaque. And there was a comment that pointed out that we don't have any monkeys yet. We have plenty of bears, so it would be nice to do the monkeys before the bears. And I agree, and I think that's a very solid point, a very solid observation. This is what I mean about leaving comments. It makes me realize things that I might not realize otherwise. But that's a solid point, and I think we will do that. I think what I'll do is we'll do the pangolin, then we'll do the reindeers, then we'll come back, we'll do the monkeys, and then we can do the Arctic wolves or the Siberian tiger. Not sure which one I'll do first, and then we'll come back for the bears. And then we do our Africa, South America dance that I've been talking about, right? And the plan there, so many of you have been asking for Africa to be sort of a safari treatment, and that's definitely been top of mind because so many of you have suggested that. I'm wondering, what I'm thinking is, where I think it'll probably end up being down over here, but what I'm thinking is we'll do a track. It'll still be separate enclosures in some cases, because I'm not going to have, lions in the same places like zebras or whatever. So it's still gonna be separate enclosures, but of course the ride will take you through everything. That's what I'm thinking right now. And then South America, we're gonna try and maybe add some more verticality or something to this area as well, just to make it a bit more interesting to look at. And of course, we're also going to have a lot of big constructs and stuff, but also I do want to try and get some more natural elements going in. I'm really pleased with Mount Dendali over here. Just it's got that sense of serenity to it, which I really like. So gonna try and maintain that as well. I saw some of y'all asking for what the plans were after this northern section was completed, so just thought I'd share that real quick. And with that said, we're gonna hit play. Now, I've been notified that apparently the thirst bug has been fixed, so we can all rejoice. We're going to check to make sure that's the case. If it is, we can finally remove some of those water pipes and whatnot. But The thirst was not just for water, it seems. The thirst went well beyond that, and we have had some inbred babies. And that's a bit of a problem. I do need to pay more attention to that. Apparently, we've got some inbred saltwater crocodiles. If I could just find the gate over here. There we go. And this was really quite unfortunate. Let's see. What is this? Using contraception and thirsty. Well, hopefully that's not for much longer. Wow, we have so many crocs in here. 8 juvenile, 8 female, 4 male. We need to really do a maintenance run, don't we? This was something that was being suggested, actually, that rather than add another new animal today, we do a maintenance run and just make it a purely maintenance run episode. I am partly tempted, which is why I was saying we might not have a time lapse today, but I think we can manage both. The first thing I want to do, actually, before I unpause, is change the time of day. And normally I'd wait for the time of day to change naturally, but I feel like we'd be waiting forever, and who knows how many notifications I'm going to get when I unpause, and then, you know, it's going to start snowing, and it's going to start raining, and we might actually end up without adding our new animal. And I wanted to get a time-lapse in today, also because I feel like the next episode might not have one, because we're going to be doing a tour. The next episode is our 75th episode, which is wild to think about, episode 75. And I have something a little special planned for episode 100 because we're barreling towards that. But that's the future. Let's talk about the present here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take a look at all of the escape routes. So as many of y'all had pointed out, and as we were finding out during the last session, the new updates have changed how some of the animals interact with various items. For example, trees, which is why we were seeing the pandas making those escapes, right? So what I want to do, hold on, sorry, I'm like all over the place right now. Let's go ahead and do the time lapse first, and we'll come back to all the management after that. How about that? How about that? We'll get the time lapse done, we'll get the new animals into quarantine, and then we'll do some of the management stuff, and then we'll get the animals added back in. I feel like that's the way to go about it. Sorry for all the flip-flopping. Like I said, I'm feeling the whole week right now, so there might be a little bit of, you know, that showing, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm still not 100% set on where I want the pangolin to go. It's quite possible that we'll put them on this side, and that way they're a little bit further away from people who will be peering down at them. I saw that suggested in the comments, and that's not a bad idea at all. But I do have a bit of a plan that gives them an underground passage as well. So maybe I'll play around with that. Anyway, folks, enough rambling, enough dallying, enough... Oh, no, I got to do this. Enough... If the camera would move faster, it'd make me a lot happier. Enough. Oh, God. Enough. You know what I'm going for. Where are you? Where are you? There we go. Enough dollying. Was that worth it? I don't know. Yes, it was. Of course it was. Now, I was actually mentioned that there's a education board here that has not been assigned, but since I'm here, I'm just going to quickly check. No, I think we got them all. Cool. All right, now, distractions aside, puns aside, let's get to work over here. Folks, it's time-lapse time. All right, folks, I am really happy with the end result of this one. I'll be completely frank with you. Going into it, I had very little idea of what I wanted to do. I had a small thought in my head, and I didn't know it was going to become what it became. So I'm really satisfied with it, and I hope you all are as well. So you will see some flip-flopping, I'll let you know right now, and it's because of everything I was saying earlier, but I'm not going to belabor that point, and I'll explain my thought process just to give you some insight. So first things first, I was thinking it'd be nice to have an extension to this little palace structure that we've made and have them over there. And then I was like, well, okay, no, we're not just going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to make this a habitat that guests can walk through, and then the pangolin can go across the bridge and stuff. And then as I came to thinking about the overall implications, like from a technical perspective of building the habitat entrances and exits and changing the path width, I really dislike how that looks and how it feels. So I was like, okay, no, we're not going to do that either. We're not going to make it something that crosses over the path. So I pull over the building to this side, and I was like, all right, we're gonna do the building over here, and we're going to keep the enclosure on this side. And what we're going to do is we're going to have this small house quote-unquote house, and that'll be where they can go to hide, but the rest of it will be the open garden space. That was my initial idea. Now the house is, in its present state, a guardhouse. Now, my lack of intimate knowledge of Chinese architecture and palace and castle layouts is going to show over here. I know it's a very common thing in Japanese castle layouts to have an exterior guardhouse. And obviously there's that cultural influence historically there from, the Chinese, Japanese. When I say history, I mean, history, not recent history. I mean, way back when. So I'm hoping there's some overlap there. When I was laying this down, I was like, yeah, okay, we'll have this exterior guardhouse. That'll be neat. And then I think right about now-ish, or in a moment's time, in a moment's time, I'll go, no, you know what? That's not good enough. It's too simple. It's too basic. It's too minimal. I like the idea of it. It fits thematically with the area, but the reason why I liked it for the pangolin is because what do guards wear? Guards wear armor. And armor was kind of the driving force for these initial layouts of like, okay, well, we've got, the guardhouse attached to the palace, the guardhouse over here. And then I was like, well, hold on. Why go with just a small guardhouse when we can go a little bit bigger and make an entire armory? Pangolin, armor, armory. It all comes together. On which note, it all comes together very interestingly. Another big thing you're going to see expressed in the layout over here is the way the pangolin's armor, so to speak, comes together. The interlocking pieces I find absolutely fascinating. And so rather than just building a simple tiling structure or system on the inside, I built something a bit more complicated. Now, here you can see I continue to experiment with the idea of like, oh, if from the quote-unquote armory, an underground access tunnel to the main building, that kind of makes sense. I'm just toying around with ideas over here. Ultimately, I abandoned this as well because the overland crossing doesn't work because I don't want to deal with, the widths of the paths and the habitat entries and exits like I was mentioning earlier. I just didn't think that would look nice. So I thought I'd do the underground passage instead, and then I realized, you know what? And you'll see me notice it. So I delete the path over here. I use the path to build the tunnel, and then I start smoothing the hole out so we can actually get the animals going through without needing an actual path down there. And then I realized, no, this is really not looking that good. And not only is it not looking that good, can you imagine the amount of time the animals are going to spend underground? Far too much, I think. It's such a long tunnel. There's so much room for them to just chill and hide, and I don't like that. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's get rid of that. Let's go ahead, and now is when the idea strikes of like, okay, how about we do something with the flooring over here that's a bit larger than what I was doing previously. The tunnel hole was also taking up a lot of space. As you can see, even now as I'm describing my thought process in the time-lapse, it really was kind of all over the place, helter-skelter, trying to get to the end destination. But we finally get there, right? And the journey has been fun, but I'm also pleased with the end result. So we use a lot of the pillar pieces, and we also use the bottom side of this sculpture here to create a little centerpiece. And just as to clarify, I'm not trying to mimic the look of pangolin armor or anything like that, but I'm trying to allude to the idea of interlocking elements to build our own tiled flooring. And again, I didn't want to do a simple tile. I wanted to have it be a bit more, have it be a bit more style-ish, just to imply that it's an interpretation. It's not just an interpretation, but it's an artistic interpretation. It's an homage, perhaps, to the animal's armor, that kind of a thing, right? It's like, oh, some artist, some architect, interior designer, tile mason saw the animal's patterns and was like, oh, that's beautiful. I want to make something that alludes to it, that kind of a thing. And I'm pretty happy with it. It's not overcomplicated. That's the thing. I was kind of limited by the pieces that we had. It's not exactly what I wanted when the idea struck, but it's close, where it's like different at the top compared to the bottom, so it has that similar feel of you know, like the narrow top. It kind of goes wide at the bottom, and then it comes down and it gets narrow at the bottom again, but the shape is a little different, right? And so keeping it square overall, but having the different widths of stone to imply that difference instead, allows me to make the interlocking, you know, pattern relatively easily, but still have that feeling of differing weights. Am I making any sense? It makes sense in my head, but as I say it out loud, I go, wow, I'm talking like I'm you know, just all over the place over here. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a horrible idea, but y'all let me know. It won't hurt my feelings. I was really happy with it when I came up with it, though. I'm still happy with it, don't get me wrong. But explaining it, just having a hard time, I guess, putting the thought into words over here. But I thought it'd be nice to have those interlocking shapes to, again, just suggest at the animal that calls this space its home. I'm a big fan of like biomimicry and stuff as well, and while this isn't exactly biomimicry, it was definitely, you know, tied into that, the idea of being inspired by nature to design things either visually or from a functional perspective. If you don't know what biomimicry is, by the way, I highly suggest looking it up. It's a very interesting topic. If you are a fan of animals, I feel like you are likely to find biomimicry an interesting topic. But even up over here, we have this second level, and even there, I wanted to have interlocking shapes and stuff. We've got interlocking stone flooring. We've got interlocking rocks for the walls. That's why I'm using these wall pieces. And we've got interlocking wood for the elevated section over there. And I believe I mentioned earlier in this time lapse that this is supposed to be an armory, right? An armory, because it's a reference to the armor. Well, if I didn't, then I'm mentioning it now. I made myself lose track of what I said, what I have and haven't said. So yeah, it's supposed to be an armory. So the idea of the elevated piece was like, oh, you know, the emperor or the king's armor, emperor's armor, sits on that elevated platform. And I thought it'd make an interesting viewing space and things like that as well. Over here, just kind of fiddling with what the edge is going to look like. I did have, I had some issues with the edges because not everything is perfectly 90 degrees, as is the story of my life. It was causing some issues, but I did my best. I think I do a decent job of kind of covering it up and making the edges make sense. And I did want the outside to be a bit more interesting than just have the arches. So I felt like that was kind of two birds with one stone, so to speak. Also, the guard house, what used to be the guard house, but is now the entrance for the armory, that is a private space for the pangolin. They're very private animals, so I left them a space that is going to be super private, and the little arches actually are enough room for them to get through to, or get through with, and then hopefully they can sleep there. That was my thinking. Now over here, that's where, you know, the armor would be hanging. Unfortunately, there aren't any armor pieces in the game, but this is where the armor would be hanging, and I was like, you know, the water spout, or the water pipe rather, kind of looks like it would fit in nicely. So now it's where they drink water from. Again, a lot of this was built on the fly. The idea evolved as I was making it, and then this is probably the evolution that I regret most. I was like, oh, well, it's got to have a roof on it, right? And why not use the roof pieces? Right, party? You like working with roof pieces. You like working with the architectural grid in this game. That's your favorite thing to do. So yeah, I decided to work with the architectural pieces in the grid, and you'll see me struggle a little bit. With that said, I am happy with the end result, and I am glad I worked with this roof, because working with this roof ended up with a much better result than had I not. So I am happy with the end result. It was just, this is where I went, oh, what have I done? Why have I decided to make another building? But it's all good in the end. It's all good. I decided not to do a full round type of roofing, instead to do kind of, what's it called, pitched roofing, I think, where it all kind of meets at one point, and that works a lot better, both in terms of mechanically, but also in terms of visually. I'm pretty happy with how that looks, and I start messing around with potential like decorative elements. I ultimately go with the custom end piece there, and I try to use that as a reference. You can see real quick. But yeah, I dropped those at the ends there. Feels a little bit better, right? It feels like it has the right shape, and I dropped these gold pieces at the top as well, again, just to get that little extra touch that makes it feel right and intentional. And then over here again, just having to cover up some of these gaps and holes and whatnot. Like I said, nothing ever works perfectly, right? Gotta go in and make some slight adjustments here and there, but it's all worth it though. And that's the thing that I'm happiest about, is that at the end of this entire time lapse, I look back at this enclosure and I go, hey, you know what? I'm really pleased. I'm really quite pleased with this one. But as always, I mean, you know, maybe I'm way off, maybe I'm attached because it's my baby, but feel free to snatch my baby away from me and, you know, throw it out the window, as it were. Let me know if you hate it. Let me know if it's a bad idea. Let me know if there's ways we can make it even better, or if something doesn't line up. Not just physically. I meant more so, you know, from a artistic perspective line up. But if something also, you know, technically doesn't line up, you can feel free to let me know that as well. But I'm thinking I think it's a neat idea. I think it ties in with the animal nicely without overdoing it. It's not obnoxiously big like some of the other buildings we've done, which I completely agree. You know, sometimes it gets a bit much. So I feel like we've struck a balance over here, and we've gone intricate, we've gone mad-made, but we've also kept a bit of intimacy, if you will. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. Pretty pleased. And unfortunately, the only fun facts I have about the Chinese pangolin is the fact that it is extremely private. Though actually, I know one other thing, if I can remember it now. So they're another animal that doesn't really have a collective noun because they're so asocial. They rarely spend time together. But they are... There's a couple of options I saw for their collective noun, and it's funny. Oh, right, a predicament. That's what it was. I was like, what's the word? A predicament of pangolin. I don't know how accurate that is, because I only found one source that said it, and it wasn't a website that looked like, oh yes, I trust this website to be completely accurate. But I really hope that's true. However, it seems like from more reputable sources, they don't really have an official collective noun because they're so asocial that they're a pair when they're together, and when they're not together, they're just pangolin. And a pair is what we actually get for our enclosure as well, because they're pretty limited in how social they want to be. Be neat to see if the animals actually are asocial as well, like they keep their distance from each other. It's a relatively big space for the size of the animal, so we'll see. Anyway, time to build the actual habitat, you know, boundaries. Obviously, most of it's going to be nulls, but over here we're going to go with the one-way glass. And for a moment there, I thought that maybe the architectural pieces were in my way, but no, of course, it is the path that's in my way. So go ahead and we repair that, find the perfect balance of placement for the one-way glass, and that is that. Not too complicated, not too much of a nightmare or a headache or anything. The shape is relatively simple. The one-way glass ensures privacy for the pangolin all over the place, and they have their extra intimate space as well. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the time lapse. I go ahead and I've already... Oh, no, it's not. There's a little bit more to do. So I already put down their like feeders and toys and things like that, as you saw. But I realized they need a little bit of vegetation. So I go ahead and build a little garden space for them. And we actually populate it after the time lapse because I want to see what the animal's requirements are before we expand it or keep it as it is. But yeah, I realized that they need a bit of a garden space, and hopefully, I might need to get access for my keepers so they can clean it up if it gets dirty. We'll deal with that next time. This, ladies and gentlemen, was the time lapse. All right, folks, we are back from that time lapse, and wow, did I not go back and forth a little bit there. Really happy with the end result, though. I mean, it's not what I had in mind when I came into this episode, I'll tell you that in complete honesty, but I like the overall concept of it, the idea of it. I maybe spent too much time doing the flooring, but you know what? I think it's nice to have it all come together like that. Oh, just noticed this over here. I think I think it's nice to have kind of a theme or a note or a concept, right? And I'm really happy with this one over here. I think it works nicely. and I'm excited to see how the animals actually interact with the space. They have plenty of privacy with one-way glass, and then extra privacy for when they want to take a nap. I wonder if I shouldn't pull some of their sleeping spots out over here if they want to sleep over there. I just don't know, like, you know, how much shade they want. I'm pretty sure they're nocturnal animals, in fact. So I don't know how much like darkness they'll want and whatnot. We can always remove this interior structure. I have no issue with that. In fact, let's go ahead and remove this back part at least. Don't know how I like that. There we go. Let's do this instead. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll adjust if necessary. But I'm pretty happy with it. I'm really happy with it. Pretty happy sounds like it's rather sounds diminutive. Sounds diminishing. There we go. But yeah, I'm really glad we went with this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the animals in. We're gonna see what they like in terms of vegetation, then drop some stuff in over here. Maybe even extend this further, or find a way to mask it so it feels like it belongs to this little entire corner over here. And I'm really pumped actually looking at this from up on high. Jeez, it's all come together finally. But before it can come together, it's time for the animals to come to the zoo. So let's go ahead and take a look at animal trading here. We'll get the animals in, we'll get them into quarantine, and then I'm going to take a look at some of the issues we were facing last session. I'll be honest, we might not be able to get to all of it. I think some of you were right. I should have just focused on animal management. I thought this time lapse was actually going to be a short one, but it ended up taking almost 2 whole hours just with the time lapse. And I thought it was going to be a quick one, so I was like, oh, we'll do a short time lapse, and then we'll do all the animal stuff. But we might not be able to get to all the animal stuff today, which is okay, I think, because then what we'll do is we'll split that up so that next session we'll do all the animal management, and then we'll get our grand tour, right? So the Chinese pangolin. Pangolin, not sure how to pronounce it. I'll be completely honest. Let's go ahead and find ourselves some good genes here. Let's take a quick look though. They are 1 to 3 as bachelor sizes, up to 3 males, up to 3 females. So it can be any mix. They're solitary animals and spend their time alone, except during their mating season and when a mother is with her infant. All right. During their mating season, male pangolins track a female by scent into her burrow, and if she's receptive, the two will mate before parting ways. The female will be pregnant for approximately 7 to 8 months, although exact times are unknown due to the secretive nature of the species. Wow, that's wild. That we don't actually know. Oh, that's crazy to me. Once born, the infant remains in the burrow for the first month of its life before starting to accompany its mother on foraging trips. It will be fully weaned at 3 months old and remain with its mother until she has another infant, usually a year later. Fully grown at 2 years. Interesting. So maturity is at 1 year. Death is, or sterility is at death. They live until 13 years of age. Very cool. Reproduction captivity, difficult. That's kind of why I gave them the little private corner as well. It's like, listen, y'all want to be secretive? Here, extra secret. Even though it's one-way glass, they can be extra secretive. They are critically endangered as well, so it's nice to finally get more sort of critically endangered animals in. Right, so let's do a breeding pair. Let's just do a breeding pair, and let's try and find some solid genetics here. Again, we have conservation credits to spend. Let's go ahead and mark by appeal. Mark the other way by appeal. Thank you. 1,500, really? That's the highest it goes? Okay. Oh, well, that's an instant buy. 3K female. Done with? Yes. Wait, yes. Done. Adopted. Sweet. Let's go ahead and move you into quarantine right away. I believe we have a quarantine nearby, don't we? All the way back there? Maybe I do need more quarantines and stuff nearby. I guess they're kind of equidistant, these two. Go ahead and get you in there. Nope, get you in there, please, and thank you. Please, and please, and please. There we go. Just gotta say the magic word, 7 or 8 times. We're not doing trading right now. Maybe we'll do that next session as well. All the animal management that we can't complete today, plus trading. And again, I'll throw a tweet out when I get to trading, so y'all can see. Let's see over here. I'm gonna go with Enlai, not only because he's a little bit cheaper, but also because he's got better longevity. And that carries over a lot more easily than some of the other stats. So Go ahead and pull you in. And let's move you over to the same quarantine. You know what I didn't check? Ages. Because why check ages, right? Why check ages? Habitat trading. And okay, they're good. They're both 0.9. Oh, but don't tell me they're the same zoo. I don't think so. Can't check here, can I? Well, I can do this. Good. Okay, they're not inbreeding. Okay. When will I learn? When will I learn to check these things? Never. Never. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, I guess, sometimes. But you can see the results are going to be pretty decent over here. Potentially. Fertility is going to be smack dab in that thin window. I wish there would be percentage markers up here so we knew what the numbers estimated. Like, this looks like it's going to sit at like 83%. 80-ish percent. Longevity could be on the high end. I mean, yeah, we're looking at some pretty good potential combinations here. So let's go ahead and I think unpause. Obvic has low welfare. Let's go ahead and let's move you to quarantine. Just in case. Vet research complete. Go ahead and say continue to that. Yeah, the doll sheep will finally have some stuff of their own, which is nice. And we have our inspector here as well. Just gonna go ahead and say hello to everybody, and then we can hit play. I really want to get the animals in, obviously, and we have to be very wary of animal escapes as well. In fact, okay, let's go ahead and deal with the pandas first, because we know how active they're being and trying to get out of here. So let's go ahead and get rid of these trees. Got an excellent suggestion, actually, about replacing their trees with more bamboo, because, hey, it makes sense. And I believe they can't climb bamboo, so it'll look similar, nice and green and lush. And while it won't hide the stuff here, we can put a tree on the outside. And that way they can't climb it. But it has a similar effect. Good stuff. Beautiful. Now, there have been a lot of inbreeding warnings and stuff as well that I haven't been able to keep up with. And I'm also seeing a lot of infighting that I haven't been able to keep up with because the warnings no longer show up in the red indications. Red warnings, or however you want to phrase it. So let's go ahead and check. Facility broken down. Great. See, if it's red, I immediately notice it. If it's not red, not so much. Okay, so we're actually fine here, I guess. Ronith is the only one. No, wait, right. It's an adult limit. So let's go ahead and get Dhriti and Anika moved to the trade center. Because I believe Ronith and Syra will still sire many good offspring. Yeah, their genes are through the roof. Yep. Through the roof. Amazing. Look at that. Constant hundreds for size. Good longevity as well. Surprisingly low on the fertility and immunity potential. These 67's bringing us down. But it's okay. It's okay, right? We seek perfection, but perfection takes time. We're about to have a baby doll sheep. Already? Already? Y'all work fast. Oh, look how bashful she is. Give me that baby. Give me that baby sheep. Whoa. Camera. Work with me here, buddy. There we go. Oh, is that it? Yes, it is. Bleat for me. Decent genes, not the best. We don't have the best parents either. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's take a moment, shall we? And while we're taking this moment, we're gonna have a bunch of inbred babies pop out, right? Of course we will. There's cute butts. All right. Quarantine full. That's just because they're lining up. That's not a problem. Anytime it says the quarantine's inefficient, I think that's primarily because our staff are lining up outside. Okay, so pandas hopefully taken care of. Our crocs. They were doing a little bit of inbreeding, if I'm not mistaken, and I think they're maybe a little too numerous here as well. I don't think it's overcrowding, but, you know, I personally don't know if I like... Oh my... Look at... What? No, okay. I wish the juveniles would have a yellow label next to their names as well. Obviously, I can see... You know what? Actually, I take that back. That's just me being me. We've got the labels right here. So we've got 2 adults and Dewi and Inten. Let's go ahead and send you to the trade center. Right, because these guys, they're not done making babies yet. And if I'm not mistaken, they got some pretty good genes. They got alright genes. They got alright genes. Come on now. There we go. Okay, Ratu, not really good genes. Well, actually, okay, so let me see. Our animal storage. Where are our crocs? Where are our crocs? Oh my, the size gene on this one's terrible. And Inten? Ah, okay, Inten's better than Ratu was, so there's that. Might need a different combination. Wow, we have a lot of animals to trade out, don't we? We have a lot of animals to trade out. Okay, that should prevent inbreeding over here. We've taken care of our tigers infighting. What about our gharial? Are they infighting as well? Or are they okay? Quarantines are being passed, so we gotta get that working as well. Oh my god, 30 babies. We need some contraceptives up in here. We need some contraceptives up in here. Viraj. Let's just put all the adults on contraceptives, honestly. And how many females can we, like male females can we have, actually? I don't have an alert symbol, so it's telling me up to 7 males, up to 7 females. Like normally on the enclosure, you would get a little alert under animals if there was overcrowding or anything like that. So I'd expect to see that unless that's been changed as well. Also, is it just me or is the frame rate actually a little bit better than it has been recently? Oh no. Embe and Emberly, oh, they're too old. We could rehome them. Here, let's rehome them. Give them a good place to, you know, bring an end to their fruitful lives. I like the music that plays. It's very hopeful music. And we'll have to see and figure out what we do in terms of the management there. For now, though, we have our pangolin ready to move, so let's go ahead and pull them in. Quarantine passed, ready to be returned. Let's go ahead and send you... Where is it? There we go. Return selected animal to original habitat. Again, pointed out in the comments, which is super helpful. Now, these two don't have original habitats, so what are you going to do? Let's just move them. I'm not going to take any risks over here. They send the pangolin in with the wolves or something. All right, come on. In here. It's not an invalid destination. Why are you saying invalid destination? There we go. Habitat 22. Obviously not its name, so I will look to the comments for name suggestions. If y'all have any, make sure you drop them down below. And, ooh, okay, capacity of that. And I'll hopefully get a name in here next session. Ooh, you should be coming too. Come on now. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Low welfare on our tortoises. Is that what? Thirst? No, stress. Yeah, it's because they're making the crossing, right? That's the downside of having guests come through. And that's why I didn't want to do a walkthrough for the pangolin, even though they kind of can. Ooh, polar bears mating. Yes. What a view. Oh, they're so cute. You know what? I do believe the frame rate's a lot better than it was. That's great. If they've actually made an update and like it's not 60. I'm not getting a smooth 60, but I don't know. Oh, dangerous animals escaped. Who's that now? Oh, that's not a real escape. Oh, right, of course. We have to check the right. We have to check the babies separately. Oh, that's not an escape. Come on, game. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. In fact, that's not an escape at all. It's well within the barrier. Oh, you know what? Actually, I guess not, right? Because the barrier goes like that. Right. Okay, well, let's go ahead and adjust that then. Move this over. We should be able to. Or, easier, is to just move the rock over. To move the rock over. There we go. Now that's the furthest they can go. Alright, pangolins are arriving. Ooh, I've achieved what? Remove protesters. Good. They shouldn't have been here in the first place. Alright, let's take a look at these pangolin. I am not very familiar with this animal, actually, so this was exciting for me. Ooh, nice. 5 stars all across. Oh, come on. What do you... How does that... Why? I wish it would tell me. Like, 5s across, 4 at the top. It's like when a teacher just, you know, doesn't like you and picks on you. And you know they're picking on you, but what are you gonna say? What are you gonna do? Alright, we gotta go ahead and make sure this is in our work zone. East Asia. I keep referring to it as China, which is, I really shouldn't be doing that. It is East Asia. The reason why I say I shouldn't be doing that is because we're going to be adding, it's going to be the same as the bear and the monkey, the Formosan black bear and the Japanese macaque. All right, let's pause for a second here because I got to get education boards and stuff down, but I also want to take a look at, oh yeah, look at that, they're tiny. They're tiny. I feel like I've given them way too much space, actually. Environment, yeah, they definitely want more plants and terrain. They want a bit less long grass, a bit less short grass, more soil, less sand. Oh, you know what? That actually works out quite nicely for me. Because I did want to replace this with soil. So I'm glad I can. Go ahead and pop all that down. Get rid of all the grass. There we go. Beautiful. Size a bit. Up the intensity a bit. Well, can't up the intensity. It's okay. There we go. And then the long grass out over here we'll replace as well. This is great. This is actually really good. I wanted it to have a more like soil look, and I actually wanted to get soil over here and soil over here. So I can't really reduce the size any further. And then soil over here as well. Gotta have at least some. There we go. Cool. And tie you up over there. Nice. Just to, like, you know, go with our story, which I'm sure I said in the time lapse. I should hope so. But yeah, cool, much better. And they're a lot happier with that. Now, yeah, so they're not happy with the coverage, of course. I should have expected that. They're happy with their enrichment overall. Already getting kind of... Oh, no, we could do with another toy, I guess. We could do with another toy. All right, let's go ahead and put some trees down. Tropical and temperate. Tropical and temperate. Where are we? Biome, temperate, tropical, continent, Asia, and let's go for what? Let's see how much of a difference. Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of coverage actually. I might actually build an extension to this. Okay, that's not bad. Let's see. Okay, we're seeing some progress here. Bushes down. Bracken. I wish I was more familiar with flora. Then I could do a more, like, appropriate job for the space and whatnot. Put another one of these down, or put one of these down. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Feeling a lot better already. Good stuff, good stuff. Again, I could give them some privacy. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? That's actually enough space. Do I want some cherry blossoms here? I don't know. I mean, I might just extend the space, right? Because I want to, I would like to connect these two. I think it would look quite nice. We could have like a gradient of colors or something. But at least they're happy for now. At least I don't have to worry about their happiness. Right, so let's go ahead and get the education boards down next. I want to make sure people are coming through. I want to make sure they're giving us their donations. I want to make sure that we are maximizing here. Let's go ahead and wait. That's a terrible spot to put it. It's like right, right where the donation bin is. Okay, let's put you down over here. And let's make sure you are assigned to the right animal. I'm definitely going to start doing it in this order where we put the animal in first. And apparently we have to get power in here, so let's not forget to do that, shall we? This one up over here. Oh, come on. That's not what I meant, game. There we go. And one more, I think, on the far end. Yeah, where the open space is. There we go. And let's go ahead and get ourselves some speakers. Where are we? Facilities. Educational speakers. One down there. Make sure you're set on the right thing as well. There we go. And then we can duplicate them and put them down. Let's see. One over there. And one over here. You know what? I think I prefer it down over here. I think it looks neater. Same thing over here. Down here, maybe a little bit louder, in fact. And we do have to get power over here. There we go. So what's our power grid looking like? Right at the edge there. Of course. Of course. Because, well, because why not? Because why not? I mean, geez. I guess we could put another solar panel down. Now, to those of you that mention wind turbines, I mean, that's always an option. It's just guests don't like them either. There's a negative impact area. So I could, and they have a slightly larger, well, I guess they have a fairly larger area of impact. Solar panels like that. Wind turbine is like that. All right, fair enough. It is much larger. But yeah, guests do not like their presence. So you just have to make sure that it's away from guests. How big is their negative impact, though? Oh, they've definitely reduced it. It didn't used to be this small. Or maybe I'm just misremembering. That's very possible, obviously. Let's go ahead and pop this down over here, then. You know, how windy it gets beneath a tree. How much this turbine will spin up and rip that tree apart. But we should be fine for negative impact. Yep. It's tiny. And for power as well. Huge coverage area. Fair enough. In fact, I could maybe even get rid of the solar panel. I don't think so. Just by a hair. And a bit. It's okay. It's not like it hurts us. It's not like it hurts us. All right, cool. Is that everything? Am I ready to hit play? I've got education going. I've got the guests taken care of. Oh, you know what I can do? I'll tell you what I can do. Oh, this keeper hut's a problem, eh? Staff are queuing up. We'll need to add more keeper huts. I think we'll add another keeper hut up in this area somewhere to help with the North America situation. And do we have a keeper hut here? I thought we did. We do. Okay. Sorry, where was I? Right. I was going to go ahead and assign some research first. It's also going to check for crime. I knew it. People or animals. There we go. And where are we? Staff? No. Vet research. We want to get the Chinese pangolin. Let's go ahead and get who gets to research the pangolin. Shah. We haven't switched you up lately. Let's get you on the pangolin. There we go. And let's hit play. I wanna see these animals in action. I wanna see the guests hopefully coming here a lot more often. The one-way glass really makes it super dark, doesn't it? Ooh, what are you doing? What are you doing? You digging? Definitely was digging. I can't even oh, there we go. I was like, I can't even get close. Oh, they blink so cutely. I'm like enamored by the silliest of stuff sometimes. And I know this, you don't have to tell me. But when an animal blinks, animal like nose wiggles and ear wiggles, like, right? Animals when they yawn, it's adorable. Just adorable. You're just staring at the wall, aren't you? Staring at the wall, aren't you? What are you doing? You're digging? Are you gonna start staring at the wall now that I'm looking at you? Imagine if the game, so there's a game, some of you will know I play on this channel, but there's this game called Total War. It's a whole series. And in the Total War Warhammer games, anytime you get close to the animals or the monsters or whatever in it, the animals look at the camera and they make eye contact with the camera and they lock eyes with the camera, like they're aware that the camera is there. And you may or may not know, but if you ever point a camera at an animal, they seem quite hyper aware of it. In fact, so much so that, let's go ahead and get keeper in here. So much so that the whenever you're filming a commercial or what have you that has an animal in it, you do the same thing that you have to do with babies. Well, not always, but more often than not, especially with like dogs and cats and things like that, domesticated animals. You do the same thing that we do with babies, which is you actually film into a mirror and you record the reflection of the animals. Because the moment you put a camera to those animals, they get hyper aware and they start behaving differently. They get curious about the camera. They can tell that you're pointing something at them. I find that fascinating. And I'm sure there's a very simple explanation, but I just find it absolutely fascinating. But my point being, wouldn't it be cool if the animals, or if you could activate a mode where the animals start treating your camera as if it was an actual person. Like, I would like to see, you know, if the pangolin scurries away or if it gets curious. Like, think about all those pictures we see, the wildlife photographers taking a picture of the foxes, right? And the fox is like looking right down the camera, or when the monkeys get super curious about the camera and they start playing with it and things like that. I'd love to see that kind of behavior. Obviously, it's a unrealistic. I'm not saying, oh, the developer should have done this. How dare they not, or anything like that. I'm just saying it would have been neat. Don't take this to be like a, you know, solid criticism of the game or something like that. I just think it would have been neat. This is funny though. Obviously, it would have to be a mode. You don't want the animals always hiding from you when you try to check them out. But I think that'd be super cool, personally. All right, so they're having a good time in there, scratching away, licking away. What do the guests think? Guests think they want to use the washroom. I need the toilet. Well, that's why you're going. These views into the red panda habitat are breathtaking. I'm literally having to consciously remember to breathe. 2 months ago. It took you 2 months to get from up there down to here? All right. I mean, hey, you do you. Seems like people are coming up here more than they were before, for sure. But really not all that often. Get to see some activity over here for the gondola. And I thought I saw people arrive by the train. Now, the thing is, them having to go all the way around is a problem. I wonder if we don't make... Well, we have this path attachment as well now. Is that also too far for them? I could do a crossing over here, I suppose. Yeah, did no one get off that train? No one's getting off this train either? Really, eh? Where are all of you going? I wish I could see, but I can't click on them when they're on the train. Yeah, I'm curious about that. They'll start getting off this train when we add... Because, like, Japan's going to be on this side, right? So when we add Japan, they're going to start getting off the train for sure. But I do wonder if I need to make a connection over here. How would I go about doing that? Only because the path, like the tracks, right? I don't want to see people getting hit. I have to think about that. What's happened over here? You've escaped? Right. So cute. They get into the wonkiest of places. And look at this up over here. You've actually made it up there. That's great. You know who hasn't made it over here? The guests. The guests haven't made it over here. One day they might. Not today. Not today. Go ahead and rotate this. Tuck this in here. There we go. That'll hopefully solve some of the problem. Again, like I said, I need to go through and do a check, right, for all the animal escape routes. Oh, let me just, come on, let me pick one of you. Oh, they're so crafty. There we go. Okay. What are we looking at here? Habitat's still recalculating? Oh no, that's cleanliness, sorry. Reversible area. Okay, still have a bit of an escape route over here. That one we've never seen triggered though. So we'll leave it be for now. Why fix something that I know is a problem until it becomes a problem? Listen, I don't know. It's because I want to see the animals, the new animals added to the zoo, I suppose. All right, Himalayan brown bear is done. Little Frank, let's get you focused on the giant panda. Let's get some advanced research going over there. I want to find ways to bring people up over here. We're just not seeing the crowds that I'd like to see. We've got, like, do we have a loop here? We've got these guys coming up and a loop down this way, but is that maybe not enough? Do we need, I mean, eventually we're going to have it going out as well, right? Like, people are going to go out this way to see the other animals up over here, loop back into the Arctic region. So maybe that'll pull people through? I don't know. Well, we'll come back here in a moment. I want to check on some other things as well. Primarily, oh yeah, look at that. The elephants are having a wonderful time. Guests over here are having a good time as well. Happiness is low. How is your happiness low when everything else is good? That's all good. This is all good. The view of the Galapagos giant tortoise is excellent. You can sit right next to it. Don't give me that. The views from this bench were okay. Oh, are they finally using benches to view from now? See, this kid's got it. Look how happy that kid was. You're facing the wrong way. This bench has no back. Alright, if they're actually viewing from benches now. Then that's good. Oh, hang on. This Just a Memento never got named over at the bazaar. Need a name for that as well. It's just called Just a Memento too. That's kind of lame. Anyway. Low welfare for these flamingos. What's wrong with you? What's the plural of a flamingo? Flamingi? Flamingos, I guess. Alright, looks like they're happy. I think it might have been... I didn't catch what it was. But it was one thing. It might have been stress or food. They haven't been stressed in a while. Look at these crowds, too. Yeah, okay, the frame rate's a lot better. I can tell. When we zoom in... These guests are happy. Have I missed any important... Oh, yes, I have. Baird's tape here. What have we got here? Chipawa is getting old. Tenok, what are your genes like? I knew it. It was in the comments, too. I should have checked my notes sooner. My apologies. So, Tenok has pretty good genes. You are still of childbearing age, or child-making age, I guess. But, wow, Tenok is much better. Alright, it's time for a swap. Solotl. Time to send you to the trade center. And where is Mum? Mum needs to go as well. Is that not? Yes, it is. Come on now. There we go. She's old. Can't release her to the wild. Can't rehome her either. Still not too old, I guess. Enter the trade center. We'll have a hard time trading her out, but we'll see what we can do. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a new Baird's tapir. We need a female. One to match our glorious male's genetics in quality. Okay, that's not one to do that. Oh, are we seriously not gonna have options here? Yeah, I guess not. 1,080 for this? Come on, really? How bad is that gonna hurt us with Tenok here? Yeah, that's terrible. That's such a horrible drop for these two genetics, for these two genes, for these two potentials, whatever you want to call it. No, he can... Tenok will be a solo artist for a little while. Oh, a new one just got added. I assume from Frontier Zoo. Oh, that's even worse. Didn't think that was possible. All right, what am I doing here? Yeah, so we're labeling you as the dad. We'll get a mum soon. For now, like I said, going solo. All right, what's up over here? Stress because of, well, right, stress. And low welfare because of stress. All right, so the stressing is back, it seems. The stressing is back. Social welfare issues, yeah. Is it the crowds? Where are you right now? You're right here and you're getting stressed out. Is it that crowd? I wish I saw where she was when the stress was maxed out. Because right now, I'm only seeing a slight correlation. See, like, Malika here was very close to this crowd, but she's not stressed out. That's a little strange. Wish I could have a clear understanding of... I believe it's got to do with the crowd, but... Like, someone who's closer was less stressed out. Okay, so you've gone right... Oh, I'm not going to be able to catch her. Okay, no. Hey. Stop it. Hey, okay, fair enough. Well, that's not going to be a viable test anymore. Back to our East Asia section. I want to see some action over here. Yeah, still no such luck. More warnings. Yeah, stress animals. Couldn't even line up for the gondola. You know what? Maybe we should make it a... Maybe we should make it a loop rather than a shuttle. Let's see how much this queue empties up right now. As Buddy leaves. Alright, come on. Okay, how many people get in here? If you can't take the gondola, then you can take the train. But I guess the train is too far. Wow, yeah. See, that's a long line and a long wait. It is a long wait. Yeah, it is really good value, isn't it? Riverboat ride is a great ride. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I might want to make this into a loop like we had earlier, just so we can add more to the track. And people are using the train. I saw a comment that said that the trains aren't seeing much use, but it looks like they are. Looks like we are still making a profit, so that's good too. And in fact, on the topic of profits, money's looking pretty good. Still making profits, yep. No more refunds, because I guess they stopped refunds in the game. And look at all these people waiting to line up over here. It doesn't take forever, but it does take a fair bit of time. And then you gotta wait until they empty out before new people can dive in. Oh, there's a lot going on. Oh, there's a lot going on. I want to see if our pangolins are up to anything special over here. And actually, you know what? I didn't check. I didn't check if they can actually get into the little extra private space. They can. Okay, good. Little cubby hole is big enough. Wonderful. You having a good time up here? I'm glad they can get up here as well. I was worried about that too. I want to see if they can definitely get out. If they can get up, they can get down. Yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. Go through. I believe in you. I believe in you. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's great. That's absolutely great. Fully enjoying their space. I love it. Exploring every corner. Digging around, scratching. Doing what pangolin do, I suppose. Pangolins. Going back in? Alright, well, if you're going back in, then, whoa, as you clip through the camera. There we go. Kind of funky, I guess, how they climb these steps. They're not meant to be stairs, right? So it's a little funny looking. But folks, I think that is where we're going to call it a session. I apologize if it ended up a little bit short. I don't think it did, actually. I think we're right around that hour mark. But this is where I'm going to call it. I had a great time building the pangolin enclosure. I'm really satisfied with how it's come through. And they are a lot cuter than I thought they were, actually. Such cool interlocking patterns and stuff as well. I hope I did them justice with their enclosure. I hope y'all enjoyed this session. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know, as always, by leaving a like and a comment down below. It makes such a big difference in how I approach things on the channel, as you hopefully very well know by now. And I always appreciate reading through your thoughts, opinions, feedback, name suggestions. Let's not forget that. But yeah, folks, this is where we're going to call it. Next session is going to be our grand tour, and I think the whole session might actually, what we might do is do a bit of animal management, do some trading, do some animal management. Looks like a lot of things have been solved already though. And then after that, we're probably just going to do a tour. Might not have time for a time lapse, because the last time I did a tour, it took so very long. And that was episode 50. We're 25 episodes from there. Walking around is going to take a very, very, very long time. So I hope you don't mind if that's the plan. But again, as always, let me know. I've got time to prep it, obviously, so I can change course if between now and the next session y'all say, that's a terrible idea, party. Don't do that. So yeah, let me know. And if you like it, let me know that too as well. Folks, hope you had a good time. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of my channel members and patrons for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. You keep us alive and running smoothly. And a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.